A super easy homemade cheese sauce plus some frozen broccoli, ham, and rice make for a quick and tasty meal. I'm Scot McDonald from Pacific Northwest Suburban Homesteading. Today, Scott, the homestead spouse, will show you how easy it is to throw together a cheese sauce for an easy dinner.
Another one of our quick meal videos. We have here some brown rice that I cooked already, some frozen broccoli, some ham bits, diced ham, and the ingredients to make a cheddar cheese sauce. What I'm going to do is throw the cheese sauce together in a pan, and then I'm going to add some rice and broccoli and diced ham to make it into a nice cheddar cheese rice broccoli casserole thing. It's very, very tasty, and it comes together very, very quickly. So with that, off to the stove. We've got all of our ingredients here. We're going to start off by melting some butter into a pan to make a roux for our cheese sauce. I have 4 tablespoons of butter here because I'm making a double batch of my cheese sauce. And I'm just going to start this out over medium heat to melt the butter up. Little trick I've learned over the years: cut your butter into small pats before you put it in the pan. Don't try to melt it in a big chunk. It takes much too long to melt if you do it that way. What we're shooting for here is to make a nice little roux, which we will then turn into a bechamel sauce and then add cheese to it. Okay, now that the butter is all nice and melty, into that 4 tablespoons of butter, I am going to whisk 4 tablespoons of flour, equal parts butter and flour. And I am stirring this around nice and neat to get all the flour incorporated into the butter. And then I'm actually going to cook this for 2 full minutes, just to make sure all of the butter and the flour are cooked properly. If you miss this step, your cheese sauce will taste A, grainy, and B, kind of weird, because the uncooked flour tastes not great. If you've got one of those fancy little small whisks, you can use that. I just use a fork. 30 more seconds or so. Okay. And we're coming to the end of our cook on the roux. To this, we're going to slowly add, while whisking it in, 2 cups of milk. You can use cream. Part of this is cream, or if you want, I'm just using good old-fashioned whole milk in here, and I'm just going to add a little bit in, stir it in, add a little bit more in, stir it in a little bit more. Just keep this thing stirring and going. Once I got about half of it in, I can pretty much be a little bit more generous with the milk add in one pull. There we go. Now we want to stir this up really, really good, breaking up all the flour roux elements. And as we do, this sauce is going to thicken up nice and neat. And this is your basic bechamel sauce from French cooking. The more thoroughly you whisk in this part, the better chance you have of having a non-grainy sauce. There we go. Starting to thicken up nicely now. So this is starting to actually get nice and thick. I'm actually going to drop the heat to just low. Now what I have here is 3 cups of a mix of sharp cheddar and just good old-fashioned mild cheddar. You can use pretty much any cheese in this you want, as long as you're keeping pretty close to the ratio of 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 cup of milk, and 1.5 cups of cheese. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of this cheese, just a handful or so, and then just stir that in until it melts in nicely. I'm going to grab another handful of cheese, mix that in. And I'm just going to keep going on this until all the cheese is mixed in. You want to wait till that last handful is pretty well melted and incorporated into the sauce before you actually grab the next handful. If you add it too quick, it lumps up and it gets harder to actually incorporate. All right, and then the last little bit of cheese. Make sure I get all that cheesy goodness out of the bowl, or as much as possible. Get that worked in nice and neat, and that's your cheese sauce right there. Okay. Should look about like that when you're all done. You can't make broccoli cheese casserole without broccoli. This is frozen. I'm just gonna toss it in the microwave. I have 2 packs here. I'm gonna put them both in for a 4.5 minutes, which is what the package calls for. Then I'll drain them off and add them to the cheese sauce with some rice. Now that the cheese sauce is actually done, and we've got our broccoli cooking up in the microwave, I need to actually get the ham added to this. You want it to heat up a little bit, and so I just add it to my cheese sauce as it's still hot. If necessary, I put the cheese sauce back on the heat a little bit to put a little bit of warmth into the ham. There we go. And just work the ham right into the cheese sauce there. Depending on how cheesy your family likes this, you can make a double batch like I did here. You could make a single batch. You could make a triple batch. And there is a ham cheese base for you. So we've got our cheese sauce, we've got our microwave broccoli, we've got our rice that's still hot. I'm gonna take a couple of scoops of rice and put it in this container here. What I'm shooting for is roughly the same amount of rice as I have broccoli. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hot, very, very hot. Be careful about this. Make sure you give this a minute or two to cool down before you open it up so that you don't burn yourself with steam. I'm gonna drain a little bit of water off this. And then I'm just gonna add my broccoli to my rice. Give it a good stir to mix it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna add roughly half of my ham and cheese sauce because I'm making 2 casserole dishes of this. And the way the proportions work out, roughly half of the ham and cheese sauce is what you need for 1 package of broccoli. Once I get it all in the bowl, give it a good stir up. Now, if you had time and you wanted to do this as an actual casserole, you could break this out into a casserole dish or a baking dish and layer it. We just kind of like it all mixed together and then served. You can top it with some freshly grated cheese or some breadcrumbs. Anything you like. You can put this whole meal together here in about 15 minutes, including the time it takes you to make the cheese sauce. It's even better than anything that comes out of a box. Trust me on that. And that's it. Now do the same thing in that other casserole dish, and then we'll probably eat some of it. All right. And there. You have 2 broccoli cheesy rice casserole dishes.
There you have it, a super quick and easy cheesy broccoli, ham, and rice casserole. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, be curious, keep an open mind, and never stop learning.